My name's Lauren. I'm here on the Conscious Conversation Instagram today to have a conscious conversation about mental health and particularly men's mental health. If you don't know us, we have been trying our hardest this month for Mental Health Awareness Month and Talktober to raise awareness about mental health and encourage men to reach out and talk about how they are feeling. Today we're joined with Josh Gibson. He's a 3-time Premiership player for the AFL. I'm just waiting for Josh to come online and then we will add him to the conscious conversation. Josh has popped on, so I will add him to the conversation. As I said, guys, today we'll be chatting all things men's mental health, so stay tuned. We'll be talking with Josh Gibson. And there he is. Josh, welcome to our channel.
Thanks for having me. Sorry about that technology, hey?
That's the day and age we live in, hey? We're so excited to have you join us today because, as you're aware, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's the month of Talktober, which is a campaign run by the Male Hug to encourage men to speak out about how they're feeling. And here at Conscious Conversations, we feel so strongly, as I know you do, about talking about mental health and breaking down that stigma, particularly around men's mental health. So in the spirit of Conscious Conversation, the first question I want to ask you today is, how are you really feeling?
Well, today I'm actually feeling amazing because I've just completed my 14 days of quarantine in a hotel room here in Sydney. So I'm even though I am out today, I'm still in another hotel room, but I am looking forward. I was able to go outside last night, and it is nice to know that the door behind me, I can open it and walk out of it when I like now, opposed to the last 14 days only being able to open it to grab a meal of food.
Yeah, that must have been such a struggle. I saw you were in the Meriton in Sydney for those 14 days. You had your treadmill in there.
Yeah, I was very lucky that I was able to get some treadmill, a skipping rope, and some gym equipment. So, yeah, there was a lot of running, a lot of exercising, but no, it was fine, and a lot of Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Look, you have been quite open about your struggles and experiences with anxiety and mental health in the past. Can you talk to us about what it was like being in the AFL, this male-dominated industry, and all of a sudden feeling this enormous amount of pressure to perform and being under media scrutiny?
Yeah, look, I think playing any professional sport, AFL and that, there is a pressure to perform. You know, like at the end of the day, guys are paid a lot of money to go out there and do a job, just like people, I guess, have to perform in other industries. I think probably the part that separates it to the guy out there that has to perform as a banker is, as you said, the public scrutiny and the media scrutiny that come with it, which can be very challenging for guys. It's certainly over my career, I was lucky enough to play for 13 years, and I started my career when there was there was probably Facebook or MySpace, but there was none of this social media straight there on your mobile phone, no camera phones. So that whole environment definitely exploded during my career, and you could see the way that society just have a demand for news and everything live, and whether that, as I said, whether that's news or it's football or whatever, but people want to know now. They want stats on everything, and with that, for a footballer, I guess brings pressure because there is more scrutiny and people are dissecting every part of the game these days.
Exactly right. And I think for such a male-dominated industry as a footballer, it probably was difficult for you to talk to other guys about how you were feeling. Did you find that?
No, look, I felt like we had a very, at Hawthorn, we had a fantastic network around us for people that you could talk to, or, I felt comfortable speaking to other players. It's probably different for some younger guys coming into the league, that, as you said, they step into a club, they've got some, if a young guy comes in to play with me, he's probably got some older players there that he's really looked up to and might not feel comfortable opening up and talking to them about the, what they're dealing with in terms of pressures in, performing or any thoughts they're feeling. So it can be a tough environment, I guess, as you said, male-dominated sports, they've always been built around, just put in, go hard and suck it up. Whereas we know that in society today, it's not the way to go about things. And, there's been a great push, I think, in the sporting world to to educate guys on letting them know that it's okay to speak up and feel vulnerable in some situations and circumstances, and feel like you're not frowned upon for saying that you might need help with something.
Yeah, look, at some stage you've talked about how you obviously realised feeling anxious and upset all the time just wasn't normal and healthy. And you have spoken out about how you did seek some professional help. Did you struggle with making that decision?
No, look, mine was, I wouldn't say that I was, I wasn't really upset or anything like that. Mine was more about, I'm very meticulous in my preparation. So, really do have some OCD qualities. And I think that mine was more about not letting those things control me. I had a ridiculous list of superstitions, whereas if I tend to play a bad game, they would start starting earlier in the week, or becoming more meticulous about them. So it was about controlling those things for me. And then I think as I said, I was probably lucky that I was pretty comfortable with talking to people, and someone I would see outside of football. But there were times where I guess the media scrutiny get to you, and and it's just learning to deal with those things. And for me, as I said, I was lucky I had good people around me to talk to in that area, which were able to keep me on a nice level path.
Yeah. But why do you think for other people it often takes breaking point for them to reach out and seek professional help? I mean, in AFL, you guys see physios and exercise physiologists when you're injured, but so often people don't go and seek that help from a psychologist. Maybe not just in the AFL, but in general. Why do you think it takes breaking point?
Yeah, look, I definitely think it's probably a bigger issue outside of the AFL. As you said, we've got some really good support networks. I think in society, with males, it's probably like you're meant to be the lion and the leader, and the dominant one, and it's almost about feeling a little bit embarrassed that they probably haven't lived up to expectations of what people associate what a male should be like. So I think they're probably the hardest ones. No one likes to fail or feel like a failure. So having to reach out and tell someone that you're struggling in a situation, to a lot of people feels like they're failing, and they whether it's telling family members or stuff like that, they don't feel comfortable or feel like they want to let others down, and probably burden them with their issues, so they keep them and hold them to themselves, and ultimately they just keep piling up and snowballing and becoming bigger issue.
Exactly, and there's such a stigma around mental health in our society. How do you think we can break this so that men feel like they have an opportunity and a chance, and they should seek help or talk to people?
Look, there's a lot of different ways. I guess for me, it's always been it's about having a mental peace as well, and not always putting yourself in a pressure cooker situation. Obviously I had football, and there was definitely releases when I'm playing the game, but now for me, it's definitely exercise, and it's something that I love. And, you speak to so many people, and they feel that whether it's going for a run or going to the gym or doing things like this, and getting in an environment like that, where it is especially if you're at a gym, it is like a team environment, and there's people around, just allows them to have a little bit of a mental break, and can just take your mind off the things that have been stressing you out. So look, I think, activity, exercise, catching up with people is such a pivotal part in helping with the mindset of so many.
Yeah, I was going to say, for anyone that follows you on Instagram, they'll know about how passionate you are about working out, staying fit and active. So obviously there is that mind-body connection. And how have you used exercise as an outlet, and why do you think other people should use that stress release?
Yeah, look, as I said, exercise has been a big part of my life, and now owning the gym company Revel, and it is about, obviously I like to stay fit, but as most people think, a lot of people go to the gym just to make their bodies look good, but for me it's more about a mental thing. And I love being able to get into our studios and get in there with other members, and do group circuits and work out together, and it's a real way to lift other people's spirits. because exercising as a group and having a target of, completing the reps or whatever it is in that circuit, doing that as a group is really knocking off a goal and giving you like a sense of achievement. And they're all positive endorphins which are going into your mind and help you really be looking at things in a positive state of mind. So the more that we can be doing things like that, which enforce positive mindsets, definitely help us mentally. And as I said, fitness is such a big part of that. And, whether it is just going out for a walk and being active, it doesn't need to be as manic training as I am, but I just feel like getting around people and exercising and doing things like that definitely take your mind off other things that are pressing issues.
Definitely. I think that's such wise words. I think if we change the goal from going to the gym to look good to going to the gym as a mental release, I think that would be such a positive side. We all know that journey starts with a single step. So what would you say to somebody perhaps listening now who's struggling and doesn't know what the first step is to feeling better or making a positive change in the right direction for their mental health?
Well, the first step is identifying that you don't have an issue. Like everyone deals with this type of stuff, and it obviously just affects some people more than others. And the first thing I'd be saying is reach out to someone that you feel comfortable talking to, partner, parents, loved one, whatever it is, and start the process. And you'll be amazed how fast it will snowball from there. You'll be surprised in how much that person actually cares about what you're reaching out to them about, and they're not going to make you feel embarrassed or like a failure because you've needed to address an issue with them. So that's the first step. And I'm sure that after you take that first step, the path becomes a lot clearer.
Yeah, I think that's so true as well. Look, do you feel as though speaking out about your own struggles has allowed other players, other men in your life to do the same? Do you think that breaking down that barrier yourself has opened other people up to come and talk to you about this?
Yeah, it has. I think as you spoke earlier about Instagram and people saying that I exercise, well, it's sort of a double-edged sword that, people could watch my Instagram during my career and be like, oh, these guys have amazing lives. They play football at the top level. They get invited to these events or get this and that and the other. But unfortunately, Instagram's not always the real world. So, I think people hearing, athletes or whoever it is, people hearing people in the spotlight speaking up and talking about their issues really, just lets people understand that we are human as well. As I said, it's just a job. Football's just a job. But, the minds work the same way as the person who's, whatever other job they've got. So I think definitely people hearing me speak out about things will help with others. And, if me telling my story helps one person, then I've done a good job.
Absolutely. I think you should be so proud of yourself for sparking that conversation, encouraging others to do the same. Josh, I want to thank you for joining us today and having this conscious conversation with us. I'm excited to see what people take away from this, and hopefully our message to reach out and talk, particularly for men, this Mental Health Month, October. I hope it reaches out to them. They do the same as you.
No, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you later, Josh. For anybody who wants to check out Rebel, Josh's gym franchise, head on over to their Instagram page. And Josh, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks very much. Yep, that's it. Come into the gym, do a session with me. I'll make sure you feel good.
Exactly right. We'll see you all later, guys.